Hello there and welcome. Today I will make a small bowl. It might be perfect for a bonsai pot. It might be perfect to have in the kitchen or just to have your utensils in it. I have this small turning wheel and I covered it with a piece of plastic so that the clay will not stick to this metal surface. I have some water, just a few tools and something to cut the clay with, and of course slip. It's always good to have some slip. So the first thing I will do now is make a base for the pot, and I will use my rolling pin for that. If you have a plywood board or some wooden board, you can also have a canvas or some cloth to do this. Remember, if you turn the clay many times, it will be much easier to keep the shape and make it even, so the thickness is the same. Okay, so I think this is enough. There we go. And then we need to cut this. Okay, so just by keeping my metal rod in the same place all the time, I know that I will get a round circle, and yes, that's why I use the turntable. So we have now the bottom here. Next up, I need to make some coils. When you make coils, use both of your hands and separate your fingers like this, and then turn it a little bit when you lift it. This way it's easier to keep the shape and you won't get this square coil or different thickness in it. Okay, so let's speed this up. I will make a few coils. Okay, so I made a whole bunch of coils, and as you can see, the length of these coils are almost the same length as I need for the whole way around here at the bottom. So just by checking how many coils I have, I know almost the height of this pot already. When you make the coils, just before you put them on here, check that they are the same thickness all the way. It's really easy to do it, but it's easier if you actually have the same thickness on each and every coil. Well, you don't need to have every coil the same thickness, but at least the whole way. Otherwise you might get higher and lower ends on this pot. Also, one thing, the ends of the coils I usually take away a little bit, because when you roll them you might get some air in the ends like this. So take the ends away. You can also cut them away. It's now time to start building it. I will just adjust my camera a little bit so you can see it better. I have my bottom and I have my coils. Now I will put a little bit of slip on this plate, just a little bit. The clay is so wet, so I think this would actually work without the slip, but the slip is the glue, so it's always good to put some slip on. And then it's time to attach the first coil. Here we go. And because it's not really enough, I cut this piece away and also a little bit over there. Of course, it would be better to have a coil that covers the whole way around straight away, but I will show you how to do if you leave a little bit like this. You probably have to sacrifice one of your coils and use it in between, like this. Put some more slip on the coils, like so. I put the new coil where it should sit, press it against the bottom and the coils, and then I just use my thread to cut away. This way I know that it will be the same height. And then use my fingers to squeeze them together. Now this is the first layer. I use my finger, I turn the turntable a little bit and try to squeeze it the same way all the way. First coil is now in place. A little bit more slip. And the next coil. Now this is the place where I put a little piece in. So now this time when I put a new coil on, remember, if you have to have these what should I call them, places where they stitch together, don't make them on the same side or the same spot all the time. Next coil is a little bit longer, so this will probably cover the whole thing. So now I put this one in here. Like so. Yes. And now you can see when I put them together like that, I use my thread to just cut through both of these. Simple. And then I know that it will actually be perfect and be big enough to fit like that. And I can actually almost do the pinching technique on this. With some water on my fingers, I can flatten the surface out and make it look really great. And now a few more layers of coil. Okay, 3 layers are now on top of the first one, and as you can see, you can still see the coils very much because I haven't really touched them. I will put one more coil on, and this coil is a coil that I'm going to actually make so it's all the way around, a little bit thinner than the previous ones, and that will lock the whole thing to its place. And then I can start working on the coils in another way. Here we go. A little bit of slip. And then the coil on top. can see it's not all the way around, but when I start pushing it together with the top layer, it will also be a little bit longer, so this coil will actually grow a little bit. And you can see that it's enough to cover the whole piece. A little bit of water on top. I might need some small adjustment there too. Okay, now here we go. Now to the fun part. I put some water on my fingers, both hands, and I use one of my hands on the inside and the other one on the outside to just support the clay. And I will pull the clay a little bit and try to feel that the walls are the same thickness. I try to keep my hands on the same spot on this turning wheel. This way I know it's going to be symmetrical. The height might be a little bit different, but the place where I keep my hands is always on the same spot. By using one of your hands on the outside, you can feel how thick the clay is, and that's really good, so you know that it's the same all around. And now for the outside. I use a little wooden tool, and well, I actually sit down now, but then I pull the clay from the base up, and this way the coils will actually get tighter together, and I know that there will be no cracks. Okay, as you can see, it's already, well, it starts looking like a pot. I can also use my tool on the inside if I want to, and maybe have this big piece of wood to just hit the walls with. That way I can also get it really smooth. I will show you the bottom from inside, and as you can see, it shows where the base is and where the rest of the pot connects. So I usually make a small coil, just a really thin coil, and put it just to secure the bottom. This way I know that it will also keep water. So if you plant something in it, you know that the water will actually stay, it will not leak. So this thin coil will go into the bottom, and I will put it against the wall. You can actually use a tool too if you want to. This rounded piece of tool is perfect for this. Okay, and some water. And now we can see, you can't see any more of that. And then I can smoothen out the edges, make it even thinner if I want to. Starting pulling the clay from inside. And I can also, of course, pull it from the outside if I want to. If you pull from the outside, use one hand and do it like this. Or like that. Here we go. I will now use a small needle to cut it, and I will put my arm to rest like this and just turn the clay. Don't move your arm. And then I cut it all the way through. And now be careful with the needle, don't mix it with your clay, otherwise you might hurt yourself. And then just smoothen out the edges and this pot is ready for the next step. This pot has now been drying for about 4 hours. And it's time for me to start making some ornaments on it. I use really simple ornaments because I think when I glaze it afterwards, it will be nice to have some extra glaze in the grooves, and it gives a really nice texture to this pot. Using this technique, I mean building on a wheel like this, is really fun, and you can actually have big and many coils and build really big pots this way. So this felt kind of like falling into a rabbit hole. I want to try more of this, and maybe next time I will try to make it on an electric wheel, you know, the ones they throw on. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's almost time to end it, and I'm really happy for you supporting my channel, and if you don't yet subscribe to my channel, please consider it if you like my videos. Any comments or questions, please drop me a line and I'll try to answer your questions. And yes, cheers from Finland, almost in spring. I hope to see you again. Bye bye.